Welcome to the TechnoGals Podcast, where two gals talk about technology and anything else top of mind. Let's get started. It still makes me laugh every time because it just is so random.
You look so good.
All right, Tracy, it's been a minute since we've gotten in the recording studio, so good to... Well, we talk frequently. It's good to see you in the studio.
Yeah. I'm super pumped.
Yeah, well, and it's summertime, so it's probably a good time to get caught up on kind of how summer's going. And one of the things that I always associate with summer is Amazon Prime days.
You do not associate summer with Amazon Prime Days.
You're right. I barely even remember what happened.
I did buy lots of stuff on Prime Day.
What did you get?
Well, I got a new chair. You know, Gimli's chair that he eats.
Oh, nice.
For those of you that don't know.
Gimlet,
one of the huskies that I have, the male, he thinks one of our chairs is his chew toy. And so we've just been letting him kind of chew it. Maybe we'll flash up a picture of the infamous chair that he's chewed up. And we were nervous to get a new chair because we're like, has he outgrown this yet? Is he just going to eat this other chair? And so we got a completely different chair and hoping that fixes whatever he's got going on. So.
We should just pause right here and just give Gimli the time he deserves.
What?
On this podcast.
He doesn't deserve any time.
Yes, he does. Because first of all, he's a beautiful dog. And I was at Tracy's house in April, and I took a bunch of pictures of this dog. And I now send pictures of this dog to my friends that are not part of the text string with Tracy, as if it's my dog, because it's so beautiful. And they're like, oh, what a nice looking dog. And I'm like, I know, isn't it? It's not my dog, but I have sent this picture of your dog to so many people. So essentially, Gimli, who I also affectionately call Gimlet, is...
Oh, well, you can have him. So he's a purebred, and when you get a purebred, well, yours are purebred.
No, they're mixes with doodles and all sorts of stuff.
But aren't they AKC registered, or no?
I don't know what they are, to be honest.
Okay.
Probably, but they're not really... Is that really a purebred, though? It's I
don't really know, and maybe that's not the right word to use. But wait, no, he definitely, but he's Siberian Husky. But if you get him AKC registered, you have to register their formal name. I don't know if you ever watch those dog, Julie Westminster? No.
Something like that.
Is that it?
I know what you're talking about, yeah.
They have all these formal names. Well, Gimli's full name is Gimli Goodboy Gorman. And he's definitely not a good boy.
Do you just call him G3 for short?
No, he has a lot of nicknames, but maybe Cubed. That's kind of hard to say when you're yelling at him for eating my chair.
I could not get his name right for the longest time.
You called him something else, too. It wasn't
Gimli,
just
I think,
Gimli.
Or something.
Gimli, yeah.
Whatever it was not going to be whatever name you gave him.
So I got a chair. I got some clothes. Oh man, I got really girly stuff. I got my favorite lip gloss. I have a million of them. I got a notebook. I know there's more, but I can't think of all the other things.
This doesn't sound very exciting. Outside of the chair like this, I'm expecting a little bit more.
Well, what did you get?
Well, this is, okay,
You forgot. You didn't even buy anything.
I mean, I don't need any judgment, but I bought nothing.
Oh my gosh.
It was the best experience ever. So I was super annoyed about it because every time I would open the app about 2 weeks before actual Prime Day, and it took so long to load. I was like, I got it. I don't need to be reminded every time. So I wish there was a way to opt out of having to be advertised to every time I opened the app for whatever it needed to be for. So that would have been a great enhancement.
Mm-hmm.
But then secondly, I need nothing.
Well, yeah, everything I got, I don't really need, but sometimes it just wants.
I didn't even want anything. I think I'm at a new age of consumption and purchases.
Oh,
I don't know
yeah.
if a lot of people, there's all this fast fashion and all this kind of stuff happening, and I've really been trying to be mindful of purchases that I don't necessarily need, but I would just want. And even clothing. I buy a lot of stuff from ThredUp. That's already been
Mm.
purchased and it's just like consigned, and I feel a little bit better about it because I'm not like buying something brand new and yada yada
I'm
yada. I still
bad
like
about that.
you what? Bad about it?
I'm bad about that, especially when I've never been super into clothes, but as I've gotten, and I'm not like a fashionista or anything, but as I've gotten older and you're a little bit more financially stable, I feel like I have invested in my wardrobe a little bit more. And I buy a lot of clothes.
Oh,
But yeah, like I get Stitch Fix. I know I would think we've talked about this
yeah,
before. So I get like a monthly box delivered with stuff. I just got it delivered yesterday. I had a shit ton of clothes on Amazon.
really.
Like a lot of clothes on Amazon.
I hardly buy
Yeah,
anything.
because it's cheap. But that's back to like the fast fashion that you were talking about.
Yeah, this was like
I
from
used to be able
Greta,
to
but it was
find really
like,
good stuff at Goodwill.
yeah, if I had more time, I would buy way more stuff at Goodwill or some type of consignment type thrift store where you could go with, but I just never have the
Yeah,
time to actually go through there. So I do like ThredUp because it is pretty affordable. And also, we're not a paid sponsor here. So this is just genuine feedback here about,
but maybe we should be.
yeah. But I do, so it's like you can get like this. I mean, this is not like the fanciest of shirts, but it's like $8, and that makes me happy to spend $8 instead of 45. And you
Yeah,
can even select
like
on
yeah,
there like barely used or essentially new with tags or excellent condition. So I always select like the higher because a lot of people like they buy stuff and they never wear it, and then it's like I'll buy that.
yeah. Okay, I need to go check this out because I literally have never bought anything off of.
And they usually have like if for first time customers you get like 40% off, and if you don't want something you can return it, or they'll just give you like they'll say you keep it and then just there's a credit on your account
Yeah,
for your next purchase. So it's almost like you don't have a really high commitment if it doesn't work out. That is the thing that is difficult because once someone's washed something, the dimensions are a small, might be like a shrunken small now or a shrunken
yeah,
medium. So like that does kind of impact it. But I mean, I bought like a couple blazers just so there could be in my
yeah.
office and for work. And the camel color blazer, I loved it, is Banana Republic,
Oh
$32.
yeah, I've seen you wear that.
Yeah, it's like $32. And so I just love it because it fits kind of my personal point of view on spending money, and also
Yeah,
just trying to be like a little better steward of our environment, I suppose.
you're a good person.
Got chickens.
And you have chickens. I did go look up my order. So I did buy a dog toy, even though they don't deserve it. And I also bought a bucket hat for the lake with like the
Oh,
drawstring.
you for sure need that. That's a
Yeah.
need, not a want.
I always thought they were really nerdy. And I'm like, you know what? No, I'm getting it because, okay, first world problems. Like if you wear a hat, you can't always wear sunglasses with your hat because
Yeah,
it like pushes down on it.
for
And
sure.
it like will blow away if it's windy. So you got the drawstring on there. Protects your shoulders. So that was a good one. And then I also fell for a Facebook ad. I think we've talked about this before. Been like trying all these like different like non-alcoholic type
Yeah.
stuff,
Mm-hmm.
drinks. Okay, so I fell for the ad, but I didn't want to go directly through their website. So I looked to see if they have it on Amazon so I can get free shipping. And it's called Three Spirit. Have you heard of this? I don't know. It's called the Livener. It's supposed to make you feel lively.
Both of you and I have tried so many NA beverages. We probably should do like a um feedback
Review.
review on them, yeah. On which
Oh, we
anyone else wants to go NA drinks, like here's the ones we top recommend because they are kind of expensive. So
they
if you're
are
trying to
expensive.
buy those, you don't want to buy one that you think is not good. And I've made that mistake. And then I'm like, oh man, now I have a bunch of $3 drinks lying around the house that really don't taste that good. That kind of sucks.
That's a great idea, especially right now because I have so many. So I just went to the liquor store. I got two different IPAs. I got one from Athletic Brewing. I got one from Boulevard, which is a Kansas City
Uh-huh. I'm aware.
brewery.
Hmm.
And then I got another one from Athletic that's like similar to it's supposed to be like a Corona, but Corona makes an NA beer. Those are pretty tasty. We have Coors Edge at home. We have Bud Zero at home. We have Blue Moon at home. We have a bunch. And I just bought some non-alcoholic wine, a Sauvignon, I'm probably saying that wrong, Blanc
Yeah.
that I had last night with some salmon, and it's pretty good.
Yeah, I had a friend recently ask me about alcoholic wine because he knows I buy a lot of the NA seltzers and
Yeah.
NA beers and so forth. And he was asking about, he's like, "Have you seen any for wine?" I'm like, "I've seen them, but I haven't actually tried the NA wine." So I wouldn't mind to
It's
try them just because it's kind of nice. I just
they're they taste, so the ones that I've had, they taste pretty like Welch's grape juice.
okay, that's maybe
I
not
want to
ideal.
I know I want to do some research on them because when I went to the liquor store actually yesterday and picked up some stuff, this lady told me that she recommended this. It's called Sea Glass. That's that Sauvignon Blanc that I had. And she said, I'm probably totally going to mess this up and we'll put out sources and stuff later if this is wrong. But she told me that there's a couple different ways that you can de-alcoholize wine. And one of the methods is to spin it. So they actually make the wine like you normally would, and then they spin it to get the alcohol out of it. I don't know. It's really weird. I need to look this up and see if it's even true. But the claim that she was making is that it still tastes like wine versus other manufacturers when they try to make non-alcoholic wine. It's not really wine. They're like trying to make something that tastes like wine that's
Right.
non-alcoholic, if that makes
It's
sense.
interesting.
So it still has a little bit of like the Welch's like grape juice. It doesn't have like the bite that you would normally get. But I would say this one that I had last night was the closest to real wine out of the ones that I've tried. And I've only tried like, I don't know, three
Have you only tried it on whites, or have you also tried?
reds. Actually,
Oh, I
this
guess
was
that
the
makes
first,
sense since you said it tastes like Welch's grape juice, but
yeah, this was the first white one that I've tried. So, and I have one more that I bought, something like free something. I don't know. That's a red blend. So we'll see how that one goes.
I still do love this trend of like all these beverages coming to the market that are NA based. Just because I don't know, some of them are pretty tasty, some of them are not. But I also modify mine because they're kind of expensive, and okay, clearly I am kind of cheap. Let's just, I guess, call a spade a spade. So because they're like $3 for like a can of the seltzer, that's like an NA seltzer, I'll
Yeah.
pour half of it, and then I'll buy like Spindrifts, like, which is like just a normal seltzer, like a sparkling water, and I will do like half of like the NA beverage, add a little bit of seltzer, and then I also put a little bit of apple cider vinegar in there to give a little like tangy kick. And so I'm like, oh, I just expanded, like I know I got double.
Now I got two cocktails.
Yeah.
That's funny. I'm gonna have to try that because it is really expensive. Like they don't typically make it in big. You can get like a case, I guess, of Bud Zero. Bud Zero isn't that great. It's okay. But like the Athletic Brewing, that's the one we like the most. They're little 6 packs and they're $12.
Yeah. Yeah. The little seltzers I
Yeah,
got, because once you have shipping in there too, you're shipping liquid. It's just heavy. And you can't really find a lot at the stores that I've been able to find for the seltzers, that they're,
bit
at least
nuts.
not here in Nebraska. It ends up being like $3 a can. So I try to like
Yep.
elongate the can.
Yep.
Again, like I think I've just noticed this over time. I'm just like very cheap in specific areas.
But I will agree with you. It's way more expensive to drink non-alcoholic beverages than it is to
Drink.
go buy like a case of beer or
Yeah.
whatever. I also have a fake whiskey at home right
Oh,
now.
I do too. Not whiskey though. I think I have a tequila.
Ooh, I'd like
And
to
a
try that. The
tequila.
fake whiskey does not taste like whiskey.
Yeah,
Definitely
it
not.
did not. It was not quite the best either, but I enjoyed the spirit of it. Like I enjoyed the idea that it
Yeah.
was trying to do without, any of the alcoholic principles, but it did not taste the best. But that's just one brand.
Yeah. I'm trying to and I haven't started it for very long, but I'm trying to eat more foods that are promote anti-inflammation. I mean, you know this, but I was diagnosed with endometriosis and trying to just find different ways to curb some of the symptoms. And a lot of people say that they've had really good luck with anti-inflammatory diets. And so really trying to stay away from like processed foods. I feel like I pretty healthy in general, but I love like a giant plate of nachos if we go out. I love a glass of wine. And like, so some of those things, like, it is what it is. But I like being able to, we talked about this, I think, on our very first, was it our very first one? Like Dry January, our very first
That was our
podcast?
second. We called it, it was going damp. We had damp.
Yeah, damp January. Like having something in social situations or, just I like taking a bath with a glass of wine and stuff, or cooking and having a glass of wine. So trying to just experiment more with some of that stuff to see if it helps. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. How long have you been doing that for?
Just like a week.
I feel like diet stuff takes, and I'm not a medical expert, but I feel like diet stuff takes a while to like
Yeah.
clear out whatever is there residually and stuff like that's why the Whole30 diet, right, is supposed to be kind of like a de-cleansing, no, detoxifying, and then you can reintroduce based upon how it makes you feel. But I think it does
Yeah.
take a minute for those things.
Yeah. Being like, just being consistent. I can eat pretty healthy most of the time. When it comes to the weekends, and I get a little lackadaisical, and then I'm like, oh, did I just ruin everything that I just did? Because I'm
Yeah,
not
so
really
you
trying
need
to
to
lose
put ketchup
weight.
on your mac and cheese.
That's so good. Especially hot dogs. I've been craving bologna sandwiches.
That's probably the thing that's going to inflame you the most.
I know. Literally last night I was laying in bed and we're like, watching TV, getting ready to go to sleep, and I'm like, I just really want a bologna sandwich right now.
That
He's like,
is
what's wrong with you?
that's super weird. I don't know that I've ever craved a bologna sandwich in my entire life.
I used to hate bologna, but now it's like this weird nostalgic thing because I don't know, we used to make like a bunch of bologna sandwiches and then go to the lake, and then we'd have lunch of like pre-made bologna sandwiches and some chips, and now I'm like, man, give me that bologna.
I'm so over processed food lately. So I have two kids, as you know, and they don't complain, but they make it well known that we don't have a lot of junk food in the house. Like we rarely have chips. I know I do too, but then I just eat the whole freaking bag like a weirdo. So we don't have a lot of stuff like that, or like easy to go kind of stuff. And I'm like, they're like, I'm hungry. Can I have a snack? I'm like, yeah, make an egg, or like make something that's like healthy. Eat some a bell
Yeah.
pepper and cut it up or whatever. They do make it known that we don't have a lot of processed foods in the house. And then they also complain that I like to make stuff from scratch a lot. And it's just better. So like I've really been skipping a lot of that stuff because it's just not good. But I do love going out to restaurants, and so that just wrecks any part of
Yeah,
yours.
same. We went out to one of our favorite spots, Red Rock, was it 2 days ago? And I always love, they make the best chicken wings there. It's like kind of not a high end, but a little bit of a fancier restaurant. And they make one of their things is like roasted chicken. Well, they save all the chicken wings off of their roasted chicken dish. It's a secret menu item. And so go in there, you ask for the chicken wings. Sometimes they have them, sometimes they don't. I've eaten them, I don't even know how many times. And we went and ate there, a couple nights ago, and I started eating it. And when you've eaten something so many times and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I hate this now. Like I'm mid bite and I'm like, this is disgusting. I can never eat this ever again. And it's like literally one of my favorite foods. I think I had like 3 wings and then I didn't eat it anymore. Like, gross.
Wow, that's kind of sad.
I know.
Yeah.
That happened with tilapia a long time ago. I used to eat a
Oh,
shit
sure.
ton of tilapia. And then I was eating it one day. I'm like, this is fucking gross. I can't eat another piece of
That's so
tilapia.
weird. So
Yeah.
this is one of those weird things where I'm noticing more. I mean, it's been well established if you've listened to the podcast, I'm in my 40s. And I feel like the older I've gotten, the more like I want to understand my food and where it's coming from. I get like a finished beef from my father every year, that like a half of a finished beef, so I know what it's thick and fed. We have our chickens. I make a lot of like our own buns and breads, although I don't, the flour is kind of the one thing that I
Bugs.
could mill my own flour, that'd be great. But even like meats, like there's so much freaking sodium in it that I've been thinking about making my own like chicken lunch meat, because I'm just like, I just don't need all that salt. So I'm
Yes.
getting like super crunchy and super granola-y, and I don't know why.
I know why, because you want to be a homesteader.
Oh,
We've
maybe.
already talked about this. You want to be a homesteader.
I want goats
Yeah. And I support you.
and pigs
What?
and little piggies.
My goal is to have a mini donkey. I want one so bad.
I don't think that's going to work with
Adorable.
Rachel.
Well, I don't think we'll live here forever. Eventually, I think we're gonna get some land, and then I will have my mini donkey. And a
Okay.
horse. I really want a horse.
Oh, I do not want a
Yeah.
horse, but I have a stable here if you'd like to board it here. We don't use it. It
Okay.
just came with the property, so you can put your little horse in
Okay. Well,
there.
I'll leave my horse there. Then you'll
Yeah.
have to take care of it and ride it. I'll visit every other, like, we'll have joint custody. I'll visit every other weekend.
Yeah, that's funny. I'm sure there's closer stables that you can use to board it at, but
Yeah.
it's just an option.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll think about it.
That's funny. Well,
But
okay, so that's in case anyone's joining us to actually learn about technology or something else, even that was the top of mind portion of our podcast, which is summer, Prime, and processed food.
yeah, I was like, what did we start talking about what we bought on Amazon Prime and ended up talking about where we're gonna store our farm animals.
Yeah, it's a
It's
rabbit
fine.
hole. I
Yeah.
mean, if we tried to map how we got there, it'd be really difficult. I think we can do
Yeah.
it.
So what did
So
you
the
do
other
this
thing that I
summer?
think about is summer is vacations.
Yeah.
And we've done a few posts on the LinkedIn page recently about just burnout and vacations, but I feel like based upon our experiences, we're in a good position to offer some tips and pointers on how to successfully, when I say successfully, I mean like how to come back and not feel like you are buried out of the inbox, how
Yeah.
to make for sure you can like walk away and not be top of mind while you're on vacation. So I think
Yeah.
that's like a really great place for us to kind of
Yeah.
offer some workplace tips.
So tell us where you went on vacation and what you did.
So
Absolutely
I
interesting.
went on I did two vacations, but like really one official, like one we visited Brad's parents in Arkansas. So that's like really just a drive, and then we get to do some fun stuff with the bonus grandparents and so forth. So while it was a vacation, the one that I would say is like the official vacation is that we flew to New York. I did a joint vacation with my sister and her two kids, her husband and my dad, who had not seen Niagara Falls. And so we flew into New York City because he wanted to see the Statue of Liberty. He wanted to go to the 9/11 museum, wanted to go to a Yankees baseball game. So did that and then drove over he also wanted to visit Ithaca, New York, which is the home of Cornell University because that's where his
Oh
dad
yeah.
went to college. So we stopped there, walked around the campus for a little bit, and then made our way over to Niagara and saw Niagara Falls on the US side and also the Canadian side. So it was a fun trip, but I think anytime you have like a lot of people, varying ages and mobility level, but also just aloofness, you know, the youngest is like, tell me what subway to get on. He's just kind of like, doesn't care. He's just like, we don't know what subway to get on because we're also trying to figure it out. So
Right.
that adds a complexity. And so I wouldn't say it was like the most relaxing vacation,
Yeah.
but it was really good experience and lots of great memories for the kiddos and also grandpa.
Well, and I think too, like with vacations like that, I mean, you went and saw a lot of different things. Like you had a pretty packed agenda. I wonder, like, there's probably some industry term or some slang out there for, because I agree, there's two types of vacations. There's ones where you go and do stuff and you have this like packed agenda because you're there and you want to see all of the things, do all of the things. And then there's the vacation where you literally just don't do anything. And it's
Yeah,
like pure relaxation. The plan is to do nothing.
read a book.
No agenda. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um, obvious, well, I maybe it's not obvious. I would say like for me, I like those vacations when I get to experience like new stuff, but I never ever feel re-energized or relaxed. I
yeah.
actually almost, I think, sometimes feel more tired
Mm-hmm.
because as like an introvert already and a homebody already, like being in that state of like peopling everywhere and like always trying to, like you said, like what subway do we need to get on, like it's, I mean, that's a lot of like mental load to, but it's still fun. It's not like I'm complaining about like, you know,
Yeah,
experiencing new experiences and things like that. But then you get back and then you're doing all your laundry and then maybe you only have like a day or two before you got to go back to work and you're back in the throes of life and you're like, I just took a week and a half off and I'm still tired.
Yeah. So we went to Croatia a couple of years ago, and it was one of those vacations where we had a lot of stuff planned. And we did not, most things you have to book in advance. So you're pretty much committed before you even get
Yeah.
there on all these things you got to do. But one day we had left open because we're like, maybe we'll see something when we get there that we want to do. And on that
Yep.
day, we were just like, you know what? We want to go to the market. We want to buy some cured meats, make a little charcuterie board, and hang out at our
Oh,
Airbnb or sit on it had like a little balcony next to it or a patio
yeah.
area and just sit
Oh,
there and
so
not
beautiful.
do something because we were both like, wow, this has been like go, 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 go. And we needed that built-in day of like nothing. And it was really wonderful.
That's so funny. We did something very similar last year when we went to Italy. That was the first time I've ever been like out of the country on vacation. So that was a whole new experience. We went for Adam's birthday with a group of friends, but same thing. You have to book everything in advance. We went through a
Yeah.
travel agent and then we left one day. Actually, I think we ended up leaving 2 days, but we used that other day to go do something else. But the one day when we were in Sorrento, we didn't have anything planned and the larger group wanted to go take this boat tour, and so I'm like, we didn't do anything. We're like, we're gonna pass, like we're just gonna stay. There's this nice hotel with a little pool and amazing scenery, and we did nothing. And I was like, whew, I needed that.
Yeah, and especially if you're traveling, if your vacation is like international, you also have like the time zone adjustment. So
Yeah.
you say like you come back and you're like, I've only got a day or two to kind of get reorganized. Your
Well,
body's still, especially if it's a big time zone adjustment to that shift.
yeah, I had someone on my team that they traveled back home to India. They were there for 2 weeks, took off work. And when they came home, they got back and they were online and stuff. I was like, hey, when'd you get back? Like, and I thought they had gotten back over the weekend or something. He was like, last night at, yesterday evening at like, 5 or 6. I'm like, you're working? You are insane. I would need so many days just to recover. He's like, I've done it so many times now. My body's kind of used to it. I'll be kind of tired today and tomorrow, but it'll be fine. I'll push through it. I'm like, you go, dude. Not
Yeah,
me. I'm a
I hear
wuss.
that a lot.
I'm sleepy.
One of my previous managers or bosses was also went to go visit India, and then he was like messaging me at all sorts of crazy hours, and I was like, "What are you doing?" And then he's like, "Oh, just working." I'm like, "Why are you working?" But on top of that, when he got back, he was like, "I'm feeling a little jet lag, which means I'm getting a little bit older because I used to be able to just like land and keep working." He was like, "But now I'm feeling like I'm like, oh, just go ahead and take a nap."
Yeah, go lay down, please. Just the fact that you're doing this is making me tired.
Yeah, but kudos to those people who can do it.
Yeah. So I know we had a poll on LinkedIn about this, but are you checking emails? Are you checking Slack? Are you turning off notifications? Are you not looking at it at all? Like what's
So
your
our poll was pretty split. It was 33% across each
Yeah.
one of the top options. And the question was, do you check your email? And you could say, yes, it's a habit. Sorta, I check, but I don't respond. Or no, I need to disconnect. And it was 33% across each one of them, of the people that responded, which was pretty interesting. And I think for me, it depends on where I am mentally. I felt very burnt out when I went on this most recent vacation for New York. Super just every day has been long, marathon feeling. And so I really felt like if I was checking email or responding to Slack, I was going to exacerbate that feeling and not really feel like I already had a vacation. So I did not check. I logged in because my flight was delayed or canceled on my way back. And so I needed to tell people I
Yeah.
was going to be gone that last day, or I was going to have to miss the next day to travel
Monday?
back. But that's why that I stayed off of it. And the very first day I needed to send something to kind of like make for sure I was in a good headspace in order to take time away and not check. And Slack does this wonderful thing where it says, hey, because I put my little like out of office notification on
Yeah.
Slack, and then it knows my message is like, hey, this message is just for you, but aren't you supposed to be away now? Or aren't you supposed to not be on Slack? And I was like, oh, yeah. So I love that Slack has added that as a feature to remind you to, if you've set your out of office on Slack, you shouldn't be online.
Weird. I never knew that. I didn't. Hmm.
I love it. I thought it was
You have
great.
to show me that.
Yeah. And even on the day, I was still in my out of office like notification on that day I was supposed to be flying back. it said the same thing. It was like, hey, just like a reminder, I'll have to put up a little like screenshot on what
Yeah,
it looks like. But I loved it. I thought it was very, it was a great way to be mindful of the fact that you're supposed to be offline, which is one of those difficult
right.
things to even do.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet because when I went on vacation, I thought I did that on Slack and I checked. I never responded. I think I checked maybe, I don't know, 3 times in the 2 weeks I was out, but I never got that. So I obviously didn't do something right.
Did you send a Slack message? You have to send a Slack message.
Oh, no, no, no. I didn't
Okay,
respond
so
to
I had to
anything.
send something, and so then it said, "Hey, aren't you supposed to be away now?" And it's like this message,
Okay,
only you are seeing this message, but aren't you supposed to be away now? So
got it.
yeah, but I love that Slack is being mindful that because it's really easy when it's on your phone. It's super easy for it. I turned off notifications. I turned off my email notification. I turned everything off so I wouldn't even see a little red icon there to remind me
Yeah,
to go and
same.
look at it, which is one of the pro tips I think that people should do because it's just so compulsive or just habit to click on it and see what's going on. And if you really feel like you need that decompression or disconnect time, then to just turn off notifications and on
Yep.
email, Slack, whatever it is that's going to ping you and interrupt your peace.
I I know you have an iPhone, I have an Android Pixel, but on mine I can pause my work profile. And so I
Oh,
don't have to go
nice.
in and Slack, turn off notifications, work email, turn off notifications. It's just everything in my work profile, I just hit pause and it turns everything off. And I have to go back in and unpause it and then go into, the app to see stuff. So I
Yeah.
think that helped me be a little bit more intentional. But one more thing on Slack. So when I got back from vacation on Monday, one of my people on my team, they took vacation and I got a message from him on Slack at exactly 10 a.m. my time. And it was, hey Tracy, this is a automated or scheduled message on Slack. I love this feature. Just reminding you, like, hey, I'm out on vacation this week. If you need something, let me know. I hope you had a fantastic time on vacation. And I was just like, that's so freaking perfect. I've been better at using scheduled messages, but that's kind of also maybe another good pro tip is if you know you're getting ready to be out and you need to just send some quick reminders, schedule it, get it to the person that next Monday or whenever, and let them know that it's a scheduled message so they don't feel like they have to respond and or that they're even working. He did that before he was on vacation. So
Yeah, for
I was
sure.
like,
I
that's
think we
great.
talked about that feature not too long ago. Also did it. One of my teammates took a vacation this past week, and I used a scheduled message because had me cover for some of her meetings. And I wanted her to have the information and links to the docs provided the updates on what happened. Got back first thing, but I did not want to send it on the Friday, Saturday, or Sunday before she got back. So I scheduled it
Yeah.
for that Monday. Said, here's the link to the docs. Welcome back. Hope your vacation was great and so forth. I
Yeah.
did not tell them it was a scheduled message, but I love the schedule. Even if I'm working a little bit late or I'm working on the weekend, if that happens for whatever reason,
Which you
um,
shouldn't.
I know. But then I do schedule message so that I don't interrupt people's evenings or their weekend times. For the most part,
Yeah.
I'm saying 98% good about remembering to hit that the second button next
Schedule.
to it, not the send.
I think I like the idea about saying that it's a scheduled message too, because sometimes I feel kind of weird's not the right word, but when I want to do that, what I don't want to happen is like, say I schedule it for 9 a.m. their time, and then I schedule it, and then say they happen to send me something at 8:30 my time, and then we're talking about something else, and then that goes off. Like, I feel like it's, I don't know, kind of weird. But I kind of like the idea of maybe saying, hey, I scheduled this message, just, throwing it out there so I don't forget
Yeah, for
versus
sure.
so I don't know.
And I also love how a lot of people are putting on their email like signature blocks. Like I'm setting this at a time that's convenient for me.
Yeah.
If it's after your working hours, it's not urgent. It's not meant for you to reply right away. And I love that people are being more mindful of kind of honoring work hours versus non-work hours because especially in our remote world, it becomes more and more blurred. And I think you and I are highly autonomous and accountable people. So if I have to be gone for something in the middle of the day, then like that means that I'm still going to come back to the office, maybe work a little bit later, my office, not the office, to get stuff done or to make for sure like I have everything in a healthy spot. So we could be
Yeah.
working different hours just based upon what our day is, just to make for sure we get everything done that we're supposed to.
Yeah.
What do you
100%.
feel like you did pre your vacation to ensure that you could relax and feel like you needed to check in?
Oh, pretty like obvious stuff. I don't think there's any like silver bullet that I did at least, but I think it's really important to identify a point of contact before you're going out. I think everyone does that. And so I had a briefing meeting with someone that was going to be my point of contact while I was going to be out. And here's the things that are upcoming. Here's the things that if you could send a reminder to the team, here's where I status on these types of things that you might get asked for, just to kind of help set them up for success, especially if you're putting them in your out of office. Paused my work profile so I wasn't getting notifications. If there was an emergency, people have my cell phone, but I think especially our field, in a lot of fields, there's like this hero mentality, and I just have to remind people, like, literally not saving lives. If you can't figure this out while I'm gone, like, there's really shouldn't be anything. I'm obviously here and I'm going to be a team player, but the reality of the situation is there's probably nothing that's going to be so extremely urgent. Like a two-way door, like, okay, you have to make a call, I'm out, just make the call. It's fine.
Yeah,
It's fine.
for sure. For
And
sure.
if it's not the right call, we'll fix it when I get back. It's not a big deal. So I think also empowering people just to, like, you have decision rights. Just make the call and we'll figure it out if we need to course correct. And then I would say, like, the last thing for me, the vacation I took was more like the relaxing side. We did not have an agenda. We rented a Airbnb in a small town outside of Seattle, Issaquah, and the Airbnb butted up next to Tiger Mountain State Forest. It was beautiful. We had our own little private trail with like a stream, and it was just amazing. And literally just read. I mean, we just read. We went on 2 hikes to go see waterfalls, and we did a Pike marketplace tour, food tour. Obviously, I love food, so that was really fun. It was like a 2-hour tour. But literally, we just read. We just read, watched some movies, hung out, and it was so relaxing. It was awesome. And I checked stuff, but I never responded to anything. And when I say checked, this is like a 2-minute thing, like thumbing through stuff. And when I got back, I didn't go through all my email. And I think you have a perspective on checking email and all of that stuff while you're out.
Yeah, I mean, I really just control delete. It'll come back. If it's that, but otherwise, we probably get 300 plus emails a day. Like, it's insane between various meeting invites, enablement, whatever it is. Like, it's
Marketing.
Right. Marketing, like, hey, looking to do this event here, whatever it is, this new service feature, whatever, release updates. It's a lot. And to try to filter through there is a little bit too much. And then it doesn't feel like you really got a vacation at all, because you're having, like, the next 2 days is such panicked, and your work, you've been trying to get caught up, but then you still got these new things, new initiatives coming down. And so I just kind of like control, and I meet with my team and ask if there was anything important that I should know about. That was when I used to work at a previous company. I've never seen this done before, and it was brilliant. But one of my direct reports set up a meeting for like the day I got back that was like, hey, here's the things that happened, and here's the things that might need your attention more immediately than other things. And that was super helpful, and I probably should make that kind of a standard practice for going forward. Having like that point person just have like a 30-minute sync on what happened, what's state of the state on anything that should maybe be more important than others or more urgent.
I like that. One other thing that I do when I get back, I don't know if you do this, but this is somewhat kind of new for me, is I will block off at minimum the first day I'm back, a half day in the morning, like up until noon.
Yeah.
I used to not do that. And, while you're out, people are scheduling meetings like, oh, they're out, so they're going to, use your first slot. And then all of a sudden you come back Monday morning and you got an 8 a.m. and you don't even know, like, you haven't checked your email. You don't even know what this meeting's about. It's probably missing an agenda. Like, I mean, you just have no idea. And I was like, this is bonkers. So now every time I take a vacation, the first day that I'm back, I block from 8 a.m. to noon. So I can get like in the frame of mind, check some emails, follow up on stuff. And that has reduced a lot of the anxiety of coming back from a vacation. Same
Yeah.
like when you're like if you take a sick day or something, it's like God, like you almost don't even want to take a sick day because you're gonna have way more work when you come back, which is
Yes.
crazy.
But like that is not helping anyone's, and especially as leaders, I feel like we need to be diligent in how do we allow people to have time away and to not check, or they can take a sick day or a kid sick day or whatever it is and
Yeah,
feel like they're not coming back to this mountain of work. It's just super important. I don't think that, and it's, I'm being like overly critical of probably American culture, and that I don't think that we really honor time away from work that much as what we
no,
see from like our European counterparts, where it's much more acceptable to take like an extended leave of like two or
yep,
three weeks for holiday, 2 or 3 weeks for like holiday in the summer or whatever.
yep,
Much more days are provided for vacations, and probably have more built in like holidays as well. We've only got like 6 here between New Year's Day and Thanksgiving, Memorial, Labor Day, Christmas, I think days. So that's like 5. I'm probably forgetting one. So there's other ones that are sprinkled in there throughout the year, but not every company honors them because they're not like one of the big 6 or whatever.
yep. And some companies are better at it than others where they'll include the floating holiday like the day after Thanksgiving or, the day after
Right,
4th of July or something like that. But
right.
I do have a little stat here. 54% of Americans leave their vacation days on the table and don't take a vacation even when it's paid.
Crazy, isn't it?
I think part of it is there is this goes back to kind of like the burnout culture and the rise and grind culture. I can't take a vacation. I'm too busy. I have so much stuff going on. Or, oh yeah, I'll try to, take it in a month or so, and then you don't plan it, and then you don't block it, and then all of a sudden your calendar's booked, and then now you can't take it. So then now you're trying to do it by the end of the year. Oh, I didn't get to it because now it's Christmas, whatever. And then you lose it.
Yeah.
I will say I've never been one of those people. I take my vacation. I have to. I do not leave it on the table.
Yeah. So, and then some places have like personal leave bank and also like their PTO bank. And they're not always the same. And some people, every company is a little bit different where they combine sick days and PTO days. Some people just call them PTO days. Doesn't matter if you're sick or not or how you can use
Right.
them.
Time off.
But it does, they do say the stat on it is that on average, Americans only take 10 days off a year for vacation,
Wow.
which is like not, that's like two weeks, but I bet no one probably takes them back to back. It's probably like a couple days here, a couple days here, a couple days here. And so
Yeah.
10 days feels very, very light as far as time away, which is probably why we're seeing such like burnout culture, especially here in the States. Or at least I feel like I'm noticing when I ask my friends, everyone feels like they're just worn out.
Yep. It's
Yeah.
it's weird. I think too, probably COVID has a really big impact on that with the rise of remote work and blurring the lines between home and office and work and all of those things because, you wake up, your office is, 2 doors down, you get to work and then maybe you cook dinner and then, oh, you've noticed you got some emails coming, so you might go check it. And then, shit, then I started working for another 2 hours thinking that
Yeah.
it's going to help you better position yourself for the next day when in reality it's still piling on. Like you're never I guess I don't feel like I'm ever catching up with something. I'm just not doing a good job of prioritizing, really. It goes back to like the saying no stuff.
Yeah, I've been thinking about this a lot though recently. And shout out to Shayla for the quote. There's always more good ideas on the table than there is time to implement them. And so I think about that a lot as my to-do list will never be done when it comes to work. There's always something else that can be done that can be added to. So it's super important to be really strategic about how you're spending those hours per day on, and make for sure you're putting it into the right place that's going to give you the most reward.
Mhm.
Otherwise, it'll just be overwhelming. It's just too much. And that's to your point, the to-do list is never done. So there, you can probably just enjoy your evening.
Right, it'll be there.
Yeah.
It will always be there. Another stat that I found, I think this one came from Cleveland Heart Lab. Women who take vacations twice a year are nearly 8 times less likely to develop coronary heart disease than those who take vacations less frequently. So it's literally saving your life. So go take the fucking vacation.
Yeah, exactly. Take your time away.
I mean, I
Yes.
believe it. Like, from a stress perspective, it has to have some huge impact on your overall health, well-being, mental state. Like, yeah, and it doesn't even have to be going like, it doesn't have to be, I think when people say vacation, like going to New York, going to Washington, like going somewhere, it can be a staycation.
Oh
Stay
yeah.
home, do nothing. I would say that I can do that, but like my husband, we can't have he can't have a staycation because he has this like mental model of like, oh, well, this one thing's broken, so I got to go fix that, or got to go run all these errands, or we have all this time, we're here, we need to be like doing stuff. And I'm like, bro, let's just relax. So it's just like ingrained in him that if we're home, even if we're not working, like which is fine, like, but he can't disconnect that way. So some
Yeah.
people are better at doing it than others, but you can just be staying home and not doing anything.
I mean, that's true. Brad was going to be very similar to Adam in that regard, where he wants to be productive and do something. But I also feel like if there's a bunch of things, like right when we first started chatting today, I was like noticing that my windows are, which is where my office is, super dirty, and I'm like, oh, I need to probably clean those. But once like the frequency of people actually cleaning the outside their windows, like pretty much, well, for me, never. But I'm like, oh, I look at them every day and they're really dirty. If you can have a staycation and you can get a bunch of those little micro tasks done, and then it kind of clears your brain from clutter or things
Yeah.
that are rotating, then I think it's a very useful staycation too.
Yes, totally agree.
So how do you feel about unlimited PTO?
I don't know. I've never had it.
Oh, okay.
Never had it before. I will say that I think in a lot of professional salary typed roles, I don't know, you tell me how you feel about this, but I would say that the people care less about actually how many days you actually take versus are you getting your stuff done? And if you take one more day than you should, or 3 days less than you should, or whatever, people probably aren't gonna, they don't really care, at least in my experience. But I don't know, like I've heard like things around like when they're, and I try to look for stats on this, but maybe you found something. When you companies that have unlimited PTO, I have heard that people end up actually taking less vacation because there's no kind of like guidelines around it, and they feel pressured like, oh, is that too much vacation, or like, what will people think, I'm out again, or whatnot. But I did see someone online where they were talking about this. Gary V, I don't know if you follow him, Alicia, but he's an entrepreneur. But he was saying that he has a policy where he makes his employee, he doesn't have unlimited PTO. He has minimum vacation days. They have to take 20 days.
Yeah. So that's
Which I think is way more powerful.
yes, I would agree. So I've had unlimited PTO several times with several different companies.
Oh.
And one place I felt like it was one place I felt a little bit more judged to use it, or if they felt like you were using much of it. So I believe industry standard, and it might have changed. I'm not an HR professional, so like anyone can correct me for listening. On average, people get 20 US or 20 US days, 20 days, like 20 calendar days per year for PTO. So essentially like 4 weeks, about a month.
Yeah. Okay.
And in my mind, when I was working for a company that is telling me that we have unlimited PTO, and that's one of the reasons why you want me to come work for you,
Yeah.
then I must take at minimum 20 days per year, or I'm not really getting a benefit at all. You literally are every other company out there.
Right.
And
you're almost leaving it on the table again.
Well, there's no payout. So with unlimited PTO, you have no bank.
Okay.
So this is the reason why we saw such a huge shift. So as I understand it, if a company like has to keep kind of like money in reserves to pay everyone out their PTO in the event that they all fell on one day and they'd had enough cash reserve to pay for these people to take their PTO.
Interesting.
But with unlimited PTO, there is no bank. Nothing's going to get paid to you. It's just there. So it is 100% use it or lose it, because there's nothing even to bank.
Right.
and I get nothing added to my extra paycheck for not taking the time.
Right. Yeah, I never thought about that.
So to me, if you're not taking 20 days minimum with unlimited PTO, then you're not really getting a benefit.
Right.
Because you're definitely not even going to get anything paid out to you.
Yep.
So I used to work at a place, and I took a lot of PTO, sometimes between 6 to 8 weeks of PTO a year. I had the best margins within my professional services organization that I was running company-wide. I had the best utilization rates, huge, like some of the more significant profits coming out of my specific products that I was managing. No one said anything to me. So it was more about like, are you getting stuff done?
Yeah.
But it was a much larger organization. So like less people probably aware of independent little me being gone.
Yeah.
So I went to another place though, where I felt like I was a much smaller organization. People did notice. And it's not like they were really tracking it, but like mentally kind of tracking it.
Right. Oh, Alicia's out on
Gone
vacation
again. Yeah. And when I was at the first place, they would ask me, like my coworkers, like, "Oh, you're gone again, another vacation." They're like, I don't want to use that. Like, what if people think that I'm not working?" And I'm like, so I kind of explained to them my philosophy that like you need to take a minimum of 20, or the company is actually you're getting more back than you're never going to get it paid out to you. But very few people had my philosophy, and I was definitely one of the very few taking like 6 to 8 weeks of total time off, but I was also throwing up numbers that were really successful, validating that I'm not messing around. I'm getting my work done. I'm just doing it in a really effective and efficient way. And that's it.
Did you feel more rested? Did you feel less burnout? Like,
For sure. 100%.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. And I would try to do like 1 or 2 like domestic trips. And then if I could find the time to get away to do like one international trip or something.
Yeah.
So like really exploring a lot. Really cool stuff. I was also a solo traveler, so I would just travel by myself as I needed to, and so like that was great. And I felt definitely like more woosah. I take a lot less vacation now, and I feel probably a lot more stress.
Yeah. So do you wish that? Well, obviously, you wish that Amazon had unlimited PTO.
That's like a yes or a no, because now if I vacation, I got all these chickens, and like someone's got to like let them out and let them in, and so it's a lot. I think I would.
You got more dependencies.
Yes, so I would take less vacations now than I would probably historically, just because it's more of, I want to say it's just more planning and prep to make for sure it's successful and goes okay. And it's also just more expensive because then I got to pay for like a pet sitter and yada, yada, yada. And so all that stuff, I didn't have pets before. And so there's all these things that just kind of add up and make vacations a little bit more expensive. And so we're probably taking less vacations than general.
Yeah. That's fair. Man, when we went to Washington, we boarded the dogs. I'm like, when picked up the dogs, I'm like, oh my gosh, looking at that boarding bill. I'm like, we could have taken a vacation with our boarding bill.
Oh, wow. That's wild.
But you know what? It's like sunk cost. I mean, there's nothing we can do about it. Like they love it out there and they're very well taken care of. But I'm just like, you're absolutely right. It's really expensive.
Yeah. And then, so this is the really odd thing about me is that I earlier on the recording, I said I'm like really cheap and I want to buy my $8 shirts, but then I also love to take these vacations. It's just like prioritizing where my money should go. And it's not in my clothing.
Yeah. Travel. You're probably getting more benefit out of spending your money on travel than if you were going to get a $50 blazer instead of your 32 thread up blazer.
Yeah. Actually, I bet that blazer was more than, I bet it was 80 as Banner.
See, there you go. There you go. Oh, man. But,
well, is there anything else you want to add about summertime or taking vacations? Any pro tips to leave our listeners with?
Just do it. Life's too short. Take the vacation. You don't have to go out and spend a shit ton of money. Stay home. Go somewhere for the weekend. Just get away. Do whatever it's gonna, you need to do to recharge, I think is the biggest thing. Because as much as I think work and the organizations that we're employed at want you to think like, oh, we're a family, and like that's also weird to me. Maybe we can talk about that in another episode when they call you a family. That gives me the ick. But like at the end of the day, like I'm sure that your employers really care about you, but you're a number on a spreadsheet. You're there to make them money, and you got to take care of yourself first if you're even to make them money. So just just take the damn vacation. I think that's
right.
all I have to say
Take
about
the
it.
vacation and do it without guilt.
Without guilt. Yes.
Yes.
That's a big part.
It's okay to invest back in yourself with that time.
Yep.
You can have that.
And if you want to buy an $80 blazer, just buy the $80 blazer too.
That's fine, but you do you.
Yeah.
I really
All
think
right.
about this as all like I'm donating anything. I'm like at one point in time, I thought if I think about this cup, I'm like, this was worth me spending money on, and now I'm gonna like donate it or get rid of it. And so I'm just really mindful about like how do you, especially like a lot of kid toys, they just end up being donated or a garage sale, and all of that at one point in time was money, and I'm just like now here it's like significantly less money on this table at a garage sale.
You know what I've been thinking about doing is obviously, you know how fashion like goes in cycles, and you know, skinny jeans, and then now the skinny jeans are out and it's more like the wide leg and the bell bottom, like all that stuff. I was thinking that instead of donating my clothes, that I was going to start getting like some totes and things that I'm like, this is probably going to come back, and start keeping it that way. Because what happens is they go out of like style, I donate it all, and then they come back in style, and then I go buy it all.
Yeah.
That's the dumbest thing ever.
You know what though? It's like, what if like you were, I'm not going to say you need to be a bit more like me, but you just don't care what the style is. I'm still wearing the skinny jeans, and I'm just like, I'm still wearing my ankle socks. Sorry to all the young people that want to be crew socks. I'm like, I just don't care. But I also feel like I'm just a little bit older and like a little less like, judge me all you want. I'm going to go back to sit in my house and like have all the happiness I want in my
I still wear skinny jeans, by the way. I still have skinny jeans. It's not that I, what's the word? I don't care either. But like, I also want to. I'm like, oh, that's fun. Love big old baggy jeans. Like, I'm so glad these came back. Not, you know, like they're comfy. They're like sweatpants. I'm not like sucked into my skinny jeans that you're doing like the, you know, like the dance with like the legs.
I'll tell you what though, I was not happy when I saw Wide Leg come back, because when those were like kind of popular when I was in like high school, so like, or even middle school, so this would have been like late 90s, early 2000s.
Oh yeah.
And anytime it rains, if you've got too long of pants, it's just dragging in the water. Gross. Hated it.
True.
I was like, now everyone's gonna have wet pants again.
That's very true. That's a good one.
Yeah. See, I'm just a little too pragmatic for this whole fashion thing.
Yeah.
That's why skinny jeans, you just tuck them inside your rain boots.
Okay, I need to see this picture. That's something else that's going to be flashed up.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, this was great. We learned a lot. I think hopefully we've provided some great tips for people on taking vacation, and honestly, just take it. Just use it. Use your time. Unlimited or not. There's no peer pressure. Actually, I can't say that for your workplace, but just take the time.
Yep. They won't care. Or they will.
All right.
Maybe you should find something else. Okay.
And as always, we got to cue that outro music.